oil market has gone from glut, not to shortage, but to the point where we're drawing down the glut. The glut is not as big as we thought it, or not going to be as big in the future as it is now. Todd, your thoughts on this with oil at 47.72?
I think you want to look at oil here now, Stuart, as a spot that takes some profit if you've been in, or a spot to short if you're not. This is a typical Goldman Sachs call. You know, we knew that it was going to change. We've got plenty of oil. There's over 100-year supply in this country alone that we can get to easily if we want it. So they're going to bring more back online. So it was not a hard prediction that there was going to be a shortage. As soon as they're short, the price will go up. We're going to see it come back in, and the markets are probably going to start to sell off. I think we're really probably range-bound somewhere between 35 and 55, and we're somewhere up here at the upper end of the range. I think it's time to take some profit or maybe sell some short if that's the kind of game you play.
But the other news, too, is the head of Russia's Rosneft, that's a gigantic oil company, has said OPEC has lost control. Not only lost control of the oil market, but OPEC is dead. So what does that mean for oil prices going forward? Could they bungee cord around? That's an issue.
I think the stock market likes this rise in the price of oil this morning.
Yes.
Up 3% for oil, up 45 points now for the Dow Industrial. I think there's a connection there. It's kind of loose, but I think there's a connection. There's a drug merger, and we're going to tell you about it. Pfizer is going to buy Anacor, and they're going to spend $4.5 billion to do it. I'm not sure I know much about Anacor. How about you, Nicole?
I don't think any of us knew much about Anacor, but it's all about eczema. It's an eczema drug. Now, don't forget, they had the whole deal with Allergan fall through, $160 billion deal. So now the idea is that they may be looking for a lot of smaller acquisitions. Anacor falls into that. Probably 20 million people suffer with eczema, a skin condition, many of which maybe 20% are children. And there hasn't been a topical gel for this in 15 years. And so they are now thriving on this idea that the FDA is looking at this particular drug from Anacor. Anacor soars 54%. Pfizer is relatively fat, but this is them expanding into that area.
Well, an eczema treatment is going to be very popular if it works, that's for sure. All right, Didi, that's China's rival to Uber. Are they planning an IPO maybe in 2018?
Well, that's the rumor. Maybe,
in America?
Yeah, in America. I mean, this is a company that's valued at around $26 billion. It's in 400 cities in China. Of course, we just found out recently that Apple has pumped in $1 billion investment into this company. It's interesting because Uber says it's going to hold off on going public as long as it can, whereas Didi may be going in the opposite direction. If they did, it would certainly be the biggest IPO since Alibaba's back in 2014.
And Tim Cook is in China right now, and I've seen pictures of him taking a ride in a DD
promoting what he just...
It gives Apple a front row seat on driving habits in China and also mapping. In other words, where do people go? So it would help Apple in a big way to find out.
Maybe making some money in America if they do an IPO.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows? Check the big board now. We're high of the day, 60 points up for the Dow Industrials. Thanks, everybody. Todd Horwitz, Keith Fitzgerald, we appreciate you being with us so early on a Monday morning.